In the unforgiving expanse of the Old West, where hunger was as common as dust and survival a daily battle, a farmer's simple act of kindness would ripple through time in ways no one could have imagined. It began on a scorching afternoon when a young boy, gaunt and weary, approached the farmer's doorstep, eyes heavy with hunger and hope. Without hesitation, the farmer broke his own lunch and offered it to the boy, a gesture so small yet so profound in a land ruled by hardship and harsh realities. That humble meal was more than just food. It was a lifeline thrown to a soul lost in the unforgiving wilderness. The boy, once hungry and alone, carried that kindness deep within him, a seed planted that would grow into a force no one in the frontier could foresee. The farmer's compassion became a beacon in a world where trust was scarce and mercy even rarer, setting in motion a story of loyalty and power that would echo across the plains. Years passed, and the boy grew into a man shaped by the lessons of that moment. Lessons of gratitude, strength, and an unyielding commitment to protect those who had once shown him mercy. When he returned a decade later, he was no longer a hungry child, but a commander leading 500 soldiers. His arrival was not just a reunion. It was a testament to the enduring impact of kindness in a land often ruled by the sword. This is a tale of how a single act of generosity can alter destinies and build legacies stronger than any fortification. It reveals the unexpected power of compassion in the wild frontier, a power that transforms lives and reshapes futures. Stay with me as we unravel this extraordinary journey from a shared lunch to an army's march, discovering the depths of loyalty and the true meaning of strength. Prepare to be captivated by a story where the simplest choices ignite the most profound change, and where the bonds forged by kindness become the foundation of an empire. This is a story that will stay with you long after the last word, because in the Old West, even the smallest acts can echo like thunder. The sun beat down mercilessly on the cracked earth of the frontier, where life was a constant struggle against hunger, harsh elements, and uncertainty. A young boy, thin as the wind that swept through the plains, wandered toward a small farmstead, his stomach gnawing at him like the coyotes howling in the distance. His clothes were tattered, and his eyes reflected the weight of 1,000 unanswered questions. Desperation drove him forward, but what he found was not hostility or disdain, but a farmer with hands weathered by toil and a heart open to compassion. Without hesitation, the farmer broke his own humble meal in two and handed half to the boy. It was a simple gesture, yet in that moment, it spoke volumes of kindness in a land ruled by scarcity, of hope in a world often clouded by despair. The boy's eyes lit up with gratitude, and for a brief moment, the harshness of the frontier softened. That meal was more than sustenance. It was a lifeline thrown to a soul adrift, a seed of trust planted in barren soil. The farm, modest and unassuming, became the backdrop for a bond that would transcend time. The farmer offered not just food but a glimpse of humanity, a rare gift in a world where survival often meant turning away from others. The boy, though still weak, found strength in that kindness, carrying it with him as a quiet flame against the darkness of his past. It was a moment destined to echo through the years, shaping destinies in ways neither could yet understand. As the boy continued on his path, the memory of that shared meal remained etched in his heart. It fueled his resolve to survive, to grow stronger, and one day, to repay the debt of gratitude that weighed heavily upon his spirit. The frontier was unforgiving, but so too was the boy's determination, a determination that would one day rally hundreds, changing the course of a land marked by conflict and hardship. This story is about the unexpected power of compassion, the ripple effect of a single act of generosity that can transform lives and shape history. It reveals how even the smallest choices can build legacies, and how the ties forged in kindness can become the foundation of empires. Join me as we explore the journey from a broken boy's hunger to the thunderous march of 500 soldiers. A decade passed, and the boy who had once accepted that humble lunch had grown into a man tempered by hardship and forged by hope. The lessons learned in the shadows of that small farmstead had guided his steps, teaching him the value of loyalty, strength, and the power of paying kindness forward. His journey was one of survival and transformation, from a wandering child to a leader commanding the respect of many. During those years, the man traversed the wild frontier, gathering allies and building a following grounded in shared experiences and a common vision. His reputation grew, not as a ruthless warlord, but as a protector and unifier. The memory of the farmer's generosity remained his guiding light, inspiring him to lead not through fear, but through the strength found in compassion and justice. Each soldier who answered his call was drawn not only by his command, but by the promise of a better future. The farmstead, once a simple place of refuge, had become a symbol of hope and possibility. Tales of the farmer's kindness and the boy's rise to power spread across the plains, inspiring those who had lost faith in the harsh world around them. The community rallied behind this story, seeing in it a testament that even in the wildest lands, humanity could prevail through empathy and courage. As the man prepared to return to the farm with his 500 soldiers, anticipation and tension hung heavy in the air. This was not just a homecoming. It was a reckoning, a moment where past kindness would meet present strength. The journey back was a march of loyalty and gratitude, a demonstration of how a single act of generosity can ripple outward to create movements that change history. This chapter of the story reminds us that true power is built on foundations of empathy, and that the bonds forged through kindness can lead to unimaginable strength. The man's return with an army was proof that in the Old West, even the smallest gestures could echo like thunder. The return of the man, now a commander of 500 soldiers, was a spectacle that rippled through the frontier like a storm. The dusty roads that once bore the footprints of a hungry boy now echoed with the marching feet of an army, united by loyalty and purpose. The people of the land watched in awe and anticipation, their hearts stirred by the sight of a community forged from gratitude and strength. The farmer, whose simple act of sharing had set this all in motion, stood humbled yet proud, knowing that his gesture had blossomed into something far greater than he could have imagined. As the soldiers encamped around the farmstead, the bonds between the man and his followers deepened. Each soldier carried a story of hardship, each heart beat with a shared mission, not of conquest, but of protection and justice. The man's leadership was marked by humility and fierce commitment to those who had stood by him, a reflection of the farmer's kindness that had ignited this extraordinary journey. Together, they prepared not just for battle, but for the forging of a legacy that would redefine their world. Yet, the frontier remained a place of uncertainty and danger. Rival factions, threatened by this rising force, watched from the shadows, plotting to dismantle what had been built. The man knew that true strength required more than numbers. It demanded strategy, resilience, and unwavering resolve. The army was not just a collection of warriors. It was a family bound by loyalty and the shared memory of a kindness that had changed their lives. Within the campfires and whispered conversations, stories of the boy's journey from hunger to command inspired hope and determination. The soldiers saw in him the embodiment of what the frontier could become, a place where compassion and strength walked hand in hand. This unity transformed fear into courage, doubt into faith, and survival into a shared vision of peace. As the sun set over the horizon, casting long shadows across the land, the man and the farmer stood side by side. Their journey from a simple act of sharing to the command of 500 was a testament to the power of kindness, a legacy that would echo through generations and remind all that even the smallest acts can change the course of history. The dawn brought with it the reality of the challenges ahead. The man, now a seasoned leader, addressed his soldiers with a voice steady yet filled with the fire of conviction. He reminded them that their strength was rooted not only in their arms, but in the compassion that had brought them together. The battle they faced was not just for territory, but for the soul of the frontier, a fight to preserve the humanity that had survived amidst hardship and conflict. The farmer watched as the young commander moved among the ranks, a leader born of gratitude and forged in trials. His heart swelled with a mixture of pride and humility, knowing that his small act of generosity had blossomed into a movement that could change the course of the West. The farmstead, once a humble refuge, had become the birthplace of a kingdom where loyalty was rewarded, and kindness was the greatest weapon. As the soldiers prepared for the inevitable confrontation, the community rallied behind them. Women, children, and elders lent their support in countless ways, mending gear, tending to the wounded, and offering prayers for victory. This unity of purpose transcended generations, turning the farmstead into a fortress not just of stone and wood, but of shared hope and resilience. The battle that followed was fierce and unyielding, echoing the harsh realities of frontier life. Yet, the soldiers fought with a determination born of loyalty and a profound understanding of what was at stake. The man's leadership, inspired by the farmer's compassion, galvanized his troops into a force capable of overcoming even the darkest threats. In the aftermath, as silence settled over the land, the victory was not measured solely by the battle won, but by the preservation of a legacy born from a shared meal. The man and the farmer stood together, knowing that their story was a powerful reminder that in the Old West, compassion could forge kingdoms stronger than any sword. In the wake of victory, the land that had once been scarred by conflict began to heal under the watchful eyes of the man and the farmer who had started it all. Their story, born from the simple act of sharing a meal, became a symbol of hope in a region long defined by hardship and rivalry. The farmstead transformed into a thriving center of life and prosperity, where the echoes of gunfire were replaced by the laughter of children and the hum of daily work. The community they nurtured was a living testament to the power of kindness to transcend pain and build something lasting. But peace in the frontier was never guaranteed, and challenges continued to test the strength of this newfound kingdom. Harsh winters threatened crops, bandits lurked beyond the horizon, and old wounds occasionally resurfaced in whispered fears. Yet, the bonds forged through shared sacrifice and compassion held strong. The man's leadership, inspired by the farmer's generosity, guided the people through every trial, proving that true power lies in unity and the courage to protect one another. Within the growing community, stories of that pivotal day when a hungry boy was given his lunch became cherished lore. Parents told their children about the strength found in kindness and the ripple effect of a single good deed. The man, now a seasoned leader, embodied these lessons daily, inspiring others to embrace generosity not as a weakness, but as the foundation of resilience. His journey was a beacon, lighting the way for those seeking a better life in the unforgiving West. The farmer, though older and quieter now, remained the heart of the kingdom. His simple act had sparked a movement that had changed countless lives. Watching the land he had once tended alone, now bustling with hope and community, filled him with a profound sense of peace. Together with the man, he knew their legacy was secure, not just in soil and stone, but in the hearts of all who called this place home. As twilight descended, painting the sky in hues of amber and violet, the man and the farmer stood together on a hill overlooking their kingdom. The journey from a shared meal to an army of 500 had been long and fraught with peril, but it was a testament to the enduring power of compassion, a lesson for all who would follow. The years marched onward, carrying the kingdom forward through new eras of growth and change. The man, now a leader forged by both hardship and grace, worked tirelessly to ensure that the values born from that day of shared bread remained at the kingdom's core. Justice, loyalty, and compassion became the pillars upon which the community thrived, attracting settlers and allies who believed in a future shaped by more than just survival. Despite the prosperity, the frontier remained unpredictable. Political tensions, resource disputes, and external threats tested the kingdom's unity and resolve. Yet, each challenge only strengthened their commitment to one another. The lessons of kindness and protection, first shown by the farmer and paid forward by the man, became a guiding light through every storm. Their story was a living reminder that true leadership demands not only strength but heart. The farmstead blossomed into a beacon of civilization in a wild land, where schools, markets, and places of worship flourished alongside the fields and homesteads. The community's success was a testament to the transformative power of generosity and the belief that even the smallest acts of kindness can build empires. The legacy of that shared meal lived on in every handshake, every helping hand, and every story told under the wide western sky. Generations later, children still heard the tale of the hungry boy and the farmer who gave him his lunch, a story that inspired courage and compassion in the face of adversity. It became more than history. It was a blueprint for living, teaching that kindness could change destinies and that every choice to protect another was a step toward building a better world. As the sun set behind the distant mountains, the man and the farmer, their hair now silvered by time, stood once more overlooking their kingdom. Their journey was complete but never-ending, a cycle of giving and protecting that would echo through the ages, reminding all that in the wild frontier, the greatest power lies in the courage to share and the strength to protect. The kingdom, once born of a simple act of kindness, had grown into a flourishing community, a beacon of hope amid the vast and often ruthless frontier. The man, who had been the hungry boy, now stood tall as a leader shaped by gratitude and experience, guiding his people with wisdom tempered by hardship. The farmstead bustled with life. Children played freely in fields once barren, and neighbors shared not only resources but stories, laughter, and dreams. This place was more than a settlement. It was a family, united by the legacy of generosity and protection. Yet, prosperity invited new challenges. External threats loomed as rival factions eyed the kingdom's success with envy and suspicion. Bandits sought to exploit any sign of weakness, and political tensions simmered beneath the surface. But the community, bonded through shared struggle and mutual respect, stood ready to defend not only their land but the values that had made them strong. Their unity was a fortress, and their courage a shield that no force could easily break. Within the kingdom, the man and the farmer worked tirelessly to nurture peace and justice. Their leadership was marked by humility and steadfastness, qualities that earned the trust and loyalty of their people. They understood that true power came not from domination but from service, lifting others and protecting the vulnerable. Together, they fostered an environment where everyone had a voice and a place. A stark contrast, stories of the kingdom's rise spread across the frontier, carried by travelers who marveled at a community built on kindness and strength. The tale of the hungry boy and the farmer who gave his lunch became legend, inspiring others to believe in the transformative power of compassion. This legacy was more than history. It was a living guide for those seeking to build something lasting in a world defined by uncertainty. As the sun set behind the hills, casting golden light over the thriving kingdom, the man and the farmer stood side by side. Their journey from hunger and hardship to leadership and legacy was a testament to the enduring power of generosity, a reminder that even the smallest acts can change the course of history. Time wove its relentless path, and with it came change, new faces, new challenges, and new opportunities. The kingdom adapted and evolved, its foundation in kindness and protection remaining steadfast amidst the shifting tides of the frontier. Schools were built, markets thrived, and traditions honoring courage and generosity took root. The community celebrated not only their survival, but their triumph over adversity, each generation carrying forward the legacy that had begun with a shared meal. The man, now a seasoned leader, faced the complex demands of governance and diplomacy. He worked to maintain balance between growth and tradition, ensuring that the values that forged their community were never forgotten. The farmer, though older and quieter, remained the heart of the kingdom, a living symbol of the simple act that had sparked so much change. Their partnership was a beacon for all who believed in the power of mercy and resilience. Challenges persisted. Natural disasters tested their preparedness, and new political pressures threatened their autonomy. Yet, the kingdom's unity and commitment to one another proved stronger than any obstacle. Their shared history was a wellspring of strength, reminding them that they were more than a collection of individuals. They were a family bound by trust and the courage to protect each other. The story of the hungry boy and the farmer who gave his lunch continued to inspire far beyond their borders. It was told in towns and camps, a parable of hope and the unexpected power of kindness. This tale encouraged others to look beyond fear and scarcity, to embrace compassion as a strategy for survival and growth in a harsh world. As the stars emerged to light the vast western sky, the man and the farmer reflected on their journey. From that day of sharing a meal to leading a kingdom, their story was a testament to the enduring strength of generosity and the unbreakable bonds it creates, a legacy that would echo through the ages. The kingdom they built was more than a place on a map. It was a living testament to what could happen when compassion leads the way in a world often ruled by cruelty and survival of the fittest. The man who once was a hungry boy had transformed, not only by the kindness he received, but by the responsibility he embraced, to protect and uplift all who called this land home. His leadership became a symbol of hope, inspiring others to believe that even the harshest circumstances could be overcome with generosity and strength united. Yet, the path was never without shadows. New challenges emerged: economic pressures, shifting alliances, and the ever-present threat of those who clung to old rivalries. But the kingdom's foundation in trust and shared history held firm. The community faced adversity together, their resilience fueled by the lessons passed down from the day. A simple lunch sparked a movement. They learned that true power lies not in weapons or wealth, but in the courage to protect and the willingness to give. Stories of the kingdom's rise and endurance spread beyond the frontier's borders, carried by traders, travelers, and those seeking refuge. They told of a place where enemies became allies, where kindness was a currency more valuable than gold, and where a shared meal could change the fate of thousands. This legend became a beacon, reminding all that legacies are built not just on battles won, but on lives touched. In quiet moments beneath the vast, star-filled sky, the man and the farmer, now both elders, stood together, reflecting on their journey. They had witnessed how a simple act of kindness grew into a kingdom of hope and protection, a story that would inspire generations long after they were gone. Their bond, forged in hardship and nurtured by compassion, was a legacy etched not just in history, but in the hearts of their people. As dawn approached, casting first light over the kingdom they helped build, the man and the farmer knew their story was far from just a chapter in the past. It was a living promise that in the wildest, toughest places, the smallest acts of generosity can forge empires, and the courage to protect others is the greatest power of all. The final pages of this extraordinary tale are not written with swords or gold, but with the quiet strength of community and shared purpose. The farmstead that began as a humble refuge had blossomed into a thriving kingdom where compassion was law and protection was the greatest honor. The man and the farmer's journey from shared lunch to leading 500 soldiers became legend, a powerful reminder that even in the darkest places, light can shine brightest through kindness. Their legacy challenges us today to rethink what it means to be strong. True strength, their story teaches, is found not in domination or fear, but in the willingness to stand for those who need us most and to give without expecting in return. In a world still marked by division and hardship, this lesson is more vital than ever, that the bonds forged through empathy can change lives and shape futures. As the kingdom's story continues to be told, it invites each of us to become part of the legacy, to share what we have, protect what matters, and lead with hearts open to the possibilities of hope. Their journey from scarcity to sovereignty is a call to action, to believe in the power of generosity and the enduring strength it creates. As the sun sets one last time over the land that had witnessed their transformation, the man and the farmer stood side by side, guardians not only of a kingdom, but of a timeless truth. Their story is a testament to the courage it takes to care and the incredible force that simple acts of kindness can unleash. This is the legacy of a shared lunch, 500 soldiers, and a kingdom built on the unshakable foundation of compassion. A story that will echo forever in the wild heart. The story we've journeyed through reminds us that even the smallest acts of kindness can create ripples that change the course of history. A simple lunch shared in a moment of need grew into a kingdom forged through loyalty, compassion, and unbreakable bonds. In a world as harsh and unforgiving as the Old West, this tale teaches us that true strength lies not in power or wealth, but in the courage to give when it matters most, and in the willingness to protect those who once stood alone. As you reflect on this journey, consider the power you hold in your own life to make a difference. What if the choices you make, no matter how small, could shape the destiny of someone else? This story challenges us all to look beyond ourselves, to see the humanity in others, and to understand that generosity can be the most powerful weapon we wield. It invites you to ask, how can you turn your kindness into a legacy? If this story moved you, please take a moment to share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Your voice helps build a community where stories like this inspire courage and hope. And if you want to join us on more journeys through history's most compelling tales, don't forget to subscribe and become part of this growing family. Together, we explore what it truly means to be brave, compassionate, and unstoppable. Remember, every act of kindness echoes far beyond the moment it is given. The lunch shared by a humble farmer did more than fill a boy's hunger. It changed lives and forged a future. Your engagement today, watching, liking, commenting, is part of that ongoing story, helping spread the light that can transform even the darkest places. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for being part of this legacy. Stay courageous, stay compassionate, and never underestimate the incredible power you have to protect, uplift, and change the world, one small act at a time.